that door open.
Welcome to the Nexus.
Could you gather more for our comparative conservation effort?
What conservation effort?
Ah, my thesis is on the console there. Broad strokes, we're comparing and preserving organisms from both galaxies. If you donate bioscans and samples to the council,
Hello, you Mass Effect Andromeda facial animations. Jim Sterling here, and this is indeed Mass Effect the Andromeda. And I hope you liked my little compilation at the beginning there. That was just a little sample of some of the funny things I've seen with my time in the game so far. I should have said in my time with the game so far, rather than with my time in the game so far. The sentence I said was bollocks, whereas the sentence I should have said made sense. Here I am scanning things. You do a lot of scanning in this game. It's funny, actually, because, self-admittedly, happily admit this, I have not played a Mass Effect game since the first Mass Effect. I didn't really like it, and it turned me off of trying the others. Over the years, I'd then played Dragon Age games, I'd played Knights of the Old Republic, I'd played... Oh, no, I played the Old Republic. I've played some Knights of the Old Republic, but I've mostly played the MMO. And some other BioWare stuff. And got to like BioWare stuff a bit more. Got to enjoy the sort of way they do things. I liked Dragon Age Inquisition quite a bit. So I thought, well, fuck it. I'll jump back in, give it another go, see what it's like. And funnily enough, despite what I've heard about how Mass Effect 2 is better and Mass Effect 3 is better, I play Mass Effect Andromeda thinking this might be a Yakuza 0 thing. That was my first time with a Yakuza game. I loved the shit out of it. Maybe I'll get into Andromeda and fall in love with it. And I find out that any of the good stuff that seemed to be in Mass Effect 2 and 3 were ignored, because this seems exactly like nothing changed since the first game. So I don't feel like I've missed anything, except for examples of how this could be done better by not playing Mass Effect 2 and 3. And I'm not saying this game is bad. It's alright, it's just so incredibly archaic and dated feeling. And I don't think it's just me. I mentioned it on Twitter and a fair few people agreed. It feels like nothing changed since the first game, even though a lot of things since the first game allegedly have changed. Apparently Mass Effect 2 was quite an improved experience, and one I've wanted to play. I was actually, it was one of the rare times I was hoping we'd see a remaster, a re-release for the PS4 and Xbox One and PC of a game. I would have liked to have seen the first three Mass Effects, given that whole fresh coat of paint treatment, so that I could play them all in time for Andromeda. But with Andromeda being a standalone thing, and just after hearing what I'd heard about the animations and things, I was like, I've got to check this shit out. So I'm probably going to do a review of this, a full review on the website, with the caveat, the very clearly made caveat that this is my first time since the first one. And I know for some that may invalidate my opinions, and I'm perfectly fine with that. you know, you've got to draw your own conclusions as to what makes a valid review. And that's a criteria I understand. You might want a review done by someone way more experienced with the series. I do think reviews from people who aren't experienced with certain series also have value. So that's where I'm coming from. But yeah, as far as I can tell, I mean, it honestly, to me, feels like this could have come out a year after the first Mass Effect. Visually, it's dated. I mean, I won't go as hyperbolic as to say, oh, it doesn't look like it's any better than... Like just from a raw technical, fundamental engine standpoint, I won't say it looks, you know, no better than the first Mass Effect. But from a design and animation and just what they've done with the faces, in some ways, stylistically, it doesn't look as good. I don't remember, and it's been a while since I've given the first Mass Effect several chances. I've beaten it once, and I've tried replaying it to try and find the love. This is a game I've given more chances than many games, in fact, because I desperately wanted to get into it the way other people got into it. I envied the investment people had in Mass Effect games. I don't envy the level of zealousy that causes them to, say, harass BioWare employees on Twitter, especially when they're women who had nothing to do with the animations they're being harassed over. But at least that level of zeal where people really like it. I'd like to get that far with it and just stop there, thanks, before it gets nasty. There is that threshold of fandom in any game series where it just gets nasty. But that's neither here nor there at the moment. What were we talking about? I was talking about how, yeah, it's been a while, but I don't remember the different species and everything quite looking this rubbish. Anyway, you'll notice here, this was... I did a little crossfade just to get rid of some boring stuff, but two of the enemies, the Ket... I don't like the design of the Ket, by the way, but yeah, two of the enemies that were supposed to assault me during that scripted assault sequence that you just watched didn't join the fight and were just stood there frozen, and one just stood there frozen until I killed him, and the other one thought, oh fuck, I better deal with that. But it's little things like that, like you could just see there, like the lack of transitory animations, so you just see characters phase in and out, like blink basically from one spot to the next. I've seen my own allies blink in and out of existence. I've seen enemies blink and do little mini teleportations and stuff. It's very common. That's the issue. It's very common. I've seen some people on Twitter say it's been overblown, that the way people are talking about the animations are melodramatic, but I don't think so. At least from what I've played so far. And admittedly, I've not been playing it for super duper amounts of time. Sorry, I was going to end it at super duper, but that made no sense. I've not played it for super duper amounts of time. I played it, you know, most of yesterday afternoon and a fair bit of the morning as well. So I've given it several hours, and it's just not gotten visually better. And from a gameplay standpoint, because of course the gameplay is more important, this game could look worse than this, but if it played amazingly, it wouldn't matter. It's just an okay third-person shooter. That's what I'm getting so far, with really dull planet scanning that I remember from the first game, and I remember being rather bored by. So that was annoying. Lots of... Like, you don't have transitory animations with dying enemies or moving allies, but you've got plenty of them for going from planet to planet very slowly when we scan them. Lots of that kind of just dull shit that doesn't add to the gameplay for me. When it gets to the... Oh, there we go. Just saw someone just spawn in mid-air on top of an enemy and fall. It's just that common. This was not me looking for glitches. The little montage I did at the beginning, that was me every time I saw a glitch. I was like, right, I've got to record that. But that was just over the course of gameplay. I was just recording for this. I did get a warning when I did record this from the pre-recorder that the fact I played it in UHD on a 4K might mess with colours. I'm not seeing dramatic colour changes here, but someone watching this week's Gymquisition said that the colours looked all wrong on Horizon Zero Dawn. So if everything looks a bit fucked up to you, that might be the reason, but this looks to me, at least in the preview video I'm watching right now, it looks to me how it should look. So, I don't know. I do like I can make my armour all pinky purple though. I actually wanted it a bit more pink than this, sort of a hot pink. I'm a big fan of hot pink, but I'm a big fan of the hot singer pink. That wasn't a judgment on her looks, by the way, although I do find pink particularly attractive. I was just saying hot in a celebrity context, if you see what I mean. I was just saying she is hip with... Well, is she? Is pink really popular now still? I don't know. I'm very much out of touch with culture. I've been meaning to talk about it at some point. This channel being primarily games and the Gymquisition being, you know, 100% games, and me being quite committed to material consistency, so that I don't, you know, I don't want to be one of those gaming sites and outlets that talk about Game of Thrones because it brings in the traffic. But at some point, I need to talk about what I consider, what I call my cultural displacement, my sense of cultural displacement. Self-imposed, I should say, because obviously some people have been talking about cultural displacement lately in the YouTube circles, and it's not a particular idea I subscribe to. Self-imposed cultural displacement, what I mean by that is that I grew up in the UK, left in my 20s, and then all of my I never really kept in touch with what was going on culturally there. And here, I have no real cultural history outside of what made it across to the UK. So here I am, in my 30s now, with a childhood that has no relevance where I am, and I guess a current that has no relevance back in the homeland. I am still planning a UK trip this year, and it's just going to feel very weird to me. Oh shit, the video's fading out. Fuck. That was it for footage. Now it's all black because I just started talking about my private life. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda, it's okay. If I were to guess at a score I'd give it right now, not higher than a 7. And it's not better than Breath of the Wild, so I don't think it's getting a 7. I don't like to predict scores before I do things, but yeah, it's okay. And that's about it. Probably use more extended shots of that Asari for this bit, just for something visual for you. I recorded a lot of that face doing that for B-roll. For situations just like this.